welcome everyone. Just a great song by the Black Crowes. Of course, this whole album, Shake Your Money Maker, is a fantastic album. There's two guitars in this. Rich is in open G, which is what I started the song off with. We'll go over the regular tune guitar, who also plays the lead at the end. Although it can be played, if you prefer to play in open G, the lead can be played because it doesn't really hit any of the strings that are changed by the tuning. So with that said, for open G, we really only want to change 3 strings. You're going to tune your E string, 6th string down to D, your 5th string down to G, and your 1st string matching your 6th string. Of course, like Keith Richards, he really doesn't use the 6th string. Keith just pulls it off, doesn't even use it. But anyhow, so we're going to be primarily on the 5th through the 1st string. So for the intro with the open G, he starts out for 2 measures, and then the regular guitar joins him for the last 2 measures. And they're a little bit different. The first half measure is different from the second half, and then the second full measure is the same. So with that said, what we're going to do is start out on the 6th string, and I've written this out. I've just grayed out the 4th string, but you want to cover it, even the 5th if you want, but he hits primarily the 3rd through the 1st string and slides from 6 to 7, and then 2 more hits. Then we're going to move to the 9th fret on the 5th and 4th string. Back to that 7. This time you'll hit the 4th. Alright, so we have this so far. Alright, at that point, there's just a minute little thing, but you know me, I like to break it down. He actually hits the 4th string before hitting the rest of the strings. At that point, he's going to hit 7 and hammer in on the 2nd and 4th string on the 8th and 9th fret. So we're going to hammer in, hit it twice, and then twice off. Stop after the 2 non-hammered on, and then 2 more. And then we hit 8 on that, or I'm sorry, 9. It says 8 on my notes, I gotta fix that. It's 9 on the 5th and 4th. And then we're gonna hit 7 on that 4th through the 1st string, but we're gonna quickly hammer on to the 9th fret. Off. So there's 2 hits with it off. So from the 2 7s leading up to the 9, back to 7 with the quick hammer on. Alright, so there's 2 hits after the hammer. Then we're going to hammer on again, 8 and 9, 2nd and 4th string. Hit it, and then 2 more times, and then off once. So a lot of notes there. I think I'll zoom in just to show you this a little closer, this very first measure. And meantime, I'm going to fix my notes. Alright, so we'll do the whole first measure together slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Funky. Again, this is probably the hardest part of the song, but if you follow my notes, it really helps. It's helping me. Alright, so the second measure, which is basically the same 2 parts repeated, we're going to go back to the 7 from the 4th to the 1st string, hit that 3 times, catching our 9, back to 7, hammered on to 9, off to 7 twice. Then we'll hammer 8 and 9, take it off, just put it back on and then back off. Alright, so that's the first half measure. Again, it's repeated. So together, 1, 2, 3. With 2 quick 7s, and then you're into the rhythm. What we're doing is playing the 5th through basically the 2nd string, and we'll be not hammering on but hitting that 8 and 9 on the 2nd and 4th string, and then off. So it's 2 7s. Again, we've ended with 2 7s. We start again with 2 7s, 1 8 9, 1 7. Let's do the verse together. I'll show you how it goes and you can follow along. 1 2 3 4. And then it starts again. Always a quick 2 7s at the end. Now we're into the chorus. So we're up to the first chorus. The first chorus, even the second chorus are the same. The first measure is repeated, and you'll recognize this very much. So we're going to do our 7, hammer on 8 and 9, hit that twice and back to 7 and then change. So it'll sound like this. So what we're doing is we're hitting 7 and then rings just a little bit, and then 7 again with our hammer on, 8 and 9. Strike it twice with that 8 and 9 down, and then once off. Then we're going to move to the 5th fret, and again this will be basically 5 through 1, and then back to 7. Now we're going to move to 4. This would be a B minor, okay? Which being in open tuning, because our 5th string's tuned down, we can play across the 5th, 4th, and 3rd string and stop there, okay? So we just want to play those 5th, 4th, and 3rd strings when we hit the 4, okay? So we will hit 4 twice, back to the full 7. Then we go to open, all right? Now when we go to open, we're going to hit open twice. We're going to put the 1st fret, 2nd string, 2nd fret of the 4th string down, hit that once, back off, then 2 more kind of opens a little quicker together, and then down and then off. Okay, so let's go all through that first chorus. We'll just do the first measure together. 1 2 3 4. And then it repeats. Okay, so that's chorus 1. Verse 2 we've learned, then we go into chorus 3, then we're into the post-chorus. All right, post-chorus are some licks. It's doubled by the standard guitar. So we'll go over what this open guitar is doing. So chorus 1 goes right to verse 2. Now chorus 2 has this, what I call post-chorus. So this would be post-chorus 1 after chorus 2. And it'll sound like this. Alright, so this lick really is repeated twice. What we're going to do is hammer on the 4th string from open to 2, and then catch the first open, the first fret of the 2nd string, and the 3rd string open. So it's just like we're kind of hammering on that thing, but we're just hitting the 2 and then up strumming with the rest. Then the timing, you got to listen to the timing. He pushes the beat a little bit, so he's just slightly ahead of the beat with this 2nd and 4th lick. All right, so we have this. So the 2nd lick is we're going to take off our 2nd finger on that 4th string. We're going to hit it open again, hammer onto 2, pull back off to open, and strike the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd string open. The very first lick repeats, and then this lick. Again, this is pushed a little, so you do it just before the beat comes in. So what ends up happening is the lick fills that little push, and you end up with the chord in time. Alright, so both sets there together, because it repeats. We'll do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is the post-chorus piece, all right? After that, we're going to go back into the rhythm like we would do for the verse, but there's a small piano solo, so I'm calling this a tag. We'll do that rhythm for 1 measure with the piano before the vocals come in. Vocals would start with verse 3. So after chorus 3, we're into the 2nd post-chorus, which is our lick. Again, that would repeat. Right after that, we're going to move to the middle pickup and go into the bridge. Okay, so after this 2nd post-chorus, we'll go into this lick, which will play by itself for a measure, and then a 2nd measure where the singing enters, and the 3rd measure about 3/4 of the way through, the band will start picking things up. But basically what we're doing is between 5 and 7 and 3 on the 2nd string, and the 1st string will be open. But we're not really going to hit the open purposely. We're just going to let it ring. All right, so it'll sound like this. All right, so what we're doing is sliding from 5 to 7, hit that open, back to 5, and then hit 3, and then 2 more times before starting again. Alright, so the next measure, that's almost the first measure there, we were just 1 short, but the next measure would go all the way through. 3/4 of the way through, when the band starts coming in, basically he stops at 3. And the band is coming in on a D and things are picking up. So let's go through the last measure together. 1, 2, 3, 4. then they're back in. Now we're into chorus 4, all right? So back to the normal bridge pickup. Chorus 4, the only difference between chorus 3 and 4 is chorus 4 is twice as long, okay? And then we'll go into the post-chorus. We'll do that, be the third post-chorus, and then we're into the outro, okay? Rich Robinson is just playing rhythm. I've watched a ton of videos, and whether it's with Jeff Cease or whoever, he does always go into just playing rhythm for the outro, and the standard tune guitar plays the solo. Like I said, you could do it if you're in open G and this is how you want to play the song. So once we go over it, you can watch that part or look at my notes and play the solo even though you're in open G. Alright, so the outro is going to be basically our open position between the first and second fret on that second and fourth string, and then open. So we're going to go down, down, up, and then up, down. And that continues on while the lead is playing, and then it starts to fade, at least as far as the album is concerned. So that's the open G part. Alright, I really hope that helps you. We're going to go to the standard tune guitar. We'll go over that next. So Jeff Cease with the normal tune guitar will come in with the drums and the second measure, the intro, and play this. He'll repeat it. Alright, it's basically, we're going to be playing big key rack from a D power chord. So we're hitting 5 and 7. I'm going to be speaking to the 4th string, to 9, back to 7 3 times. Back to 9 and 7. And then we alternate between 9, 7, 9, 7. So we have this all together for the first half measure of this standard guitar intro. And then it repeats, but we'll add one extra 5/7. And then the second half will start with a 5 and 7 before we really go again with 2 more, and then 9, back to 5 and 7 3 times. And then back and forth. It always ends, especially the intro and all the verses, with 2 Ds. Alright, so the standard tune guitar, when it comes in, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're into the rhythm. Now, I wrote the verse rhythm. It's semi-palm muted. I just wrote palm muted. For the first 2 Ds, the 9 and then back to D is not palm muted. The chorus. So that was a full verse 1. The chorus will start out, again, he's following the G-tuned guitar, but we're going to start out with a D, and then we'll add our 9 for 1, and then 2 more quick hits before coming back to the D, and then going to C twice before D. Alright, so I'm going to show you this. If you just sing along with the chorus in your head, it all makes sense. Then we go to B, back to D, and then we're going to go to G. Now the second half of the first chorus, he pulls on and off that 9. And then you're into verse 2, which is just like what we've learned. Now chorus 2, the only difference is the very first time through, on the G, he doesn't add his pinky. So we have this. And then back to it, and we'll add the pinky on the G. Into verse 3. We're into the post-chorus. So that's the only difference. Chorus 2, that G he holds. Is it the end of the world? No. This is really, you know, kind of loosely put together. I mean, it has some structure, but if you're just jamming it, nobody will know the damn difference. Alright, so we're going to get to the, because that was the second chorus, we're going to go into the very first post-chorus. The post-chorus is basically playing a C, alright, just like a C major. We're going to be up here at the 8th fret, 9th fret. We're just going to use the first 3 strings, alright? So it'll be 9 on the 3rd and 8 on the 1st and 2nd. Then we're going to move to a G in a D form. Back to a C, alright, just like you would play a full C bar chord where you had that included G note, and then the lick. So we play a G power chord there. So the way it starts out, we're going to slide in to that 8th fret from 7 on the 3rd string, and then upstroke on, or just pluck, the 1st and 2nd. We're going to move from the 3rd string at 6 up to 7 into a D form and upstrum or pluck those other 2 strings. Alright, so we have this all together. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, he's pushing the beat along with Rich, and you play this lick. So you're going to the 4th string at the 2nd fret, pulling off to open, same on the 5th string. And then playing a G power chord. So we don't want that 5th string to ring, and we want to cover the 1st and 2nd. Alright? 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you're back into what would be the verse, but we're at the tag. The tag is like playing the verse for one full measure where the piano has a solo. So after this post-chorus, we got this tag, which is the verse for a measure, and then we're into the actual third verse, which again, we know that. Then we're into chorus 3. Chorus 3 is straight. We're playing the G with the 7, all right, both times, and then we're into post-chorus 2. After that, so this would be the second post-chorus, it's the bridge, and we rest while Rich is playing his lick. All right, at that point, we'll rest for 3.5 measures. It's 2 3/4 measures, I'm sorry. And then we start bringing it up with a D. So we're going to crescendo with a D power chord. And if you count it, it's really 12 times. But, you know, again, doesn't matter. And then we're into chorus 3. Chorus 3 is extended. The first measure is normal. We do our G both times with the 7. The second measure of chorus 3, like I said, that's the extended part. At the end, the second time, we will just hold the G. All right. So let's go through the third chorus. Extended measure, and we'll hold that. We're going to do our third post-chorus, which we've learned, and then we go into the solo for this guitar. Okay, the solo, which takes us out and eventually fades out, we'll start in this open position. The first 2 measures are exactly the same, and then we're going to move it up really to the 12th position and play very similar. So it starts out like this. I'm going to play both measures. All right, so this is really fun to play. It's great to get it under your fingers. What we're doing is hitting the 4th string open, hammering onto 2, and then hitting the 3rd string open. Alright, we're going to do that a total of 5 times. Then we're going to grab 2 on that 3rd string, slide up to 4, quickly grab 3 on the 2nd string, back to 4, sliding to 2 and pulling off to open. Then we go to the 4th string at the 2nd fret, back to open on the 3rd. Then we're going to grab the 3rd string at the 2nd fret with a bend release, pull off to open, and end on 2 on the 4th string. Alright, so that whole measure together, this is the first measure, and again it repeats. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, we've got another measure that. Then we're going to move up to the 12th position. So the next measure, the solo, we're taking that beginning an octave up. So we're going to be hammering on from 12 to 14 on the 4th string, hitting 12 on the 3rd 5 times. Then we grab 14, bend that up, and then hit 15 on the 2nd string. Then we're going to hit 14 again with a bend, release, pull off to 12, landing on 14. Back to 12, and then hitting 14 again with a bend, release, pull off to 12, landing on 14 on the 4th. Alright, so that from the 14 bend to 15 on the 2nd. Alright, so let's do that whole thing together slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. The next measure starts out very similar with our 12 to 14 on the 4th string, back to 12 on the 3rd, 5 times. Then we're going to grab 14, bend it up, catch 15, and then we'll hit it again and let 15 ring. As we do that, we want to release, keep 15 ringing. This is really kind of the most difficult part. You want to keep 15 ringing, and then so you're going to bend and release 14 on that 3rd string back to 12, ending up on 14, excuse me, on the 4th string while that 15 is ringing. Alright, so it'll sound like this. I'm going to take it from the 12 to 14, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4. So after you do that pull off and release to 12 and land on 14, while 15 is ringing, you're going to hit 15 and 12 together, and then 2 more times. Alright, so it'll sound like this all together. I'm going to take it from the last 14 to 12 and then the bend. It's probably the most technical part, and again, it's in my notes. You can follow along. At this point, we come to, personally, my favorite part of the solo. So this final lick, like I said, repeats as the song fades, but it'll sound like this. Of course, it's a little faster than I'm doing, but what I'm doing is 17 on the 2nd string. You want to stretch that pinky out there, hit 17 and pull off to 12, and then hit 12 again. Then you're going to pull off from 15 to 12 and hit 12 again. Then we're going to bend 14 on the 3rd string up, catching 15, and then hit 15 again. At that point, we're going to go ahead and bend and release the 3rd string to 12, landing on 14, the end of the leg. Alright, so all together, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that, like I said, done a little bit quicker and keeps repeating and then starts fading out with the rest of the song. So even if you're in open G, you can play along with that fine. I hope that helps everybody, and enjoy.